Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Friday, March the 17th, 2023. Friday, March the 17th. Well, let's see, what do we have going on in GH land today? We have Eileen. Robert had her in the office. She must be sick of, we got Robert telling her what to do, Anna telling her what to do, Laura telling her what to do. And he says, no, no, no. We're going to systematically feed Victor more information. So Robert had a file on his desk and Diane came into the office. Well, I thought Eileen had snuck and took a picture of the file, but then I remembered she was probably always supposed to take that picture. They just had us think she was double crossing Robert. But remember, Anna and Robert and Laura said they were going to, and Valentin, that they were going to leak some breadcrumbs to Victor about the diamond. So this was their way of leaking some breadcrumbs, right? So Eileen goes and he says, did you get me information on Laura? Because he's still in the hospital. He got the original doctor that examined him, another appointment with him because he wanted to, get a second opinion from what Finn said. And the doctor ended up telling him, yep, Finn's diagnosis was spot on. And right now, there is no cure for what he has. It's pretty much permanent. The only thing they could do is try some medication, probably the blue pill, to see if it would work for him. And so Victor tries to save face, like, I can't be distracted. My family's in shambles, and I have to focus on putting my family back together again. I'm like, okay, tell yourself that, Victor. Tell yourself that. So Eileen meets him there and he goes, do you have information on Laura? She goes, well, no, not on that, but I have information about that diamond, that necklace you wanted. And he goes, she says, here. So she gives the phone because she took a picture. And he, talked about how Robert had it. It wasn't destroyed in the fire. And, it's kept in the PCPD evidence locker. Well, we know that ain't secure, right? At all. But anyway, he tells her, Eileen, then you get that necklace for me. And Eileen is like, how can I get a necklace from the police department's secure evidence locker? I'm just the deputy mayor. I have no authority for something like that. Right? And he goes, then you find a way. Because she goes, me giving you this information, I should be done. I should be clear. And he goes, Eileen, you are clear when I say you're clear. Now get me that necklace. And she looks at him, understood. So she walks out and she goes back to Robert. Meanwhile, Diane is talking to Robert, when Eileen left. And she convinces him skillfully and logically how right now, if they just postpone the charges, just postpone them, let Esme out of jail, and then let her memories come back. And once they do, now she can stand trial as the evil person she is. Because, it took some convincing. He's like, why would I want to do that? And she says, are you sure you can win? Because right now she's a very sympathetic client. And Martin Gray is going to pull out everything he has. This mother who was held captive in a tower, single mother, and she has amnesia. And she this, that, she goes, she's got every fairy tale princess just wrapped up in a neat little bow. She's got Rapunzel. She's got Snow White. She's got Sleeping Beauty, and she says, you don't know exactly what you're going to get. But I tell you, she'll have sympathy. So he thought you might be right. might be right. So he agreed. Of course, we knew he would, because now Esme's gonna get out of jail, right? So that's gonna happen. And you know what? Let's see her. We need to see her do some more dirt, realistically, right? So then Diane leaves after inviting Robert over to the axe throwing place, because she goes, look, let's get out some pent up aggression. And Robert looked at her. What you got in mind? I was thinking, Diane, what you got in mind, girl? Ooh, you a little bold. And then she brought up the axe throwing place, which was funny to me. And Robert, he just laughed, he chuckled. He didn't say he wanted to go, but the idea did intrigue him. So Diane leaves, Eileen comes back, and he goes, did he buy it? She goes, yes, he bought it. And she goes, but he did bring up Holly Sutton's name. And so Victor said, that's okay, I've already notified the proper people. So Victor, he made a phone call saying, look, I want an update on Holly Sutton's progress, right? I want an update on it. So, Robert said, I already took care of that. So Victor's going to get the update that she's progressing slowly and blah, blah, blah. Watch, right? So then we have Lucy being the worst pain in the behind. But before I go to her, let's go to Jocelyn. Dex goes home to get some stuff because Sonny brings little Donna over to spend the night Carly brings Donna over to spend the night at Sonny's. And Sonny's like, you didn't get my message? She goes, no, I was helping plan the nurses' ball, and she named who she was with. And so I didn't. He goes, yeah, it's not a good time for Donna to be spending the night. And Carly says, yeah, I saw all the guards. Right? What's going on? So Sonny proceeds to talk, to Carly, and I'm going to come back to that. But Dex goes home to get him some clothes because he's staying at Sonny's. And he can hear somebody in his place. And he pulls out his gun. And I thought, he better not have given Jocelyn a key. Not nosy Jocelyn. See, that's telling you, Dex has no business being in this business, right? None. Because he does not know how to uphold mob boss protocol. Why would you give her a key? Because she didn't break in. She did not break into his place. And I was like, oh my God, they're not even there yet. And she's got a key? And so he pulls out his gun and you just hear her saying, Dex. And he goes, oh my God. So he puts the gun back in his back pocket. He could have shot off a butt cheek, but he didn't. Look, like Brick says, why is he always getting shot? Put the gun, oh my God. That would have been hilarious. Oh my God. So anyway, of course, Jocelyn has to grill him, and you know what? He tells her absolutely, positively everything that happens. There's everything, right? And she goes, take off your shirt. Because she wanted to check his wound. He already said the doctor stitched him up, but she wanted to see for herself. And she goes, yeah, the doctor did a better job than me. And I thought, shut up, Jocelyn. Shut up. We haven't even heard you say not one more time you wanted to go to medical school. Not one more time. So stop trying to peek at that bandage as if you knew what you were looking at, right? So he tells her everything that's happened and blah, 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 blah. And I just fast forward, right? And then we get to Carly. No. Guess who's back, everybody? Guess who's back? Phyllis. The infamous Phyllis is back. She comes to visit Nina, and they get all caught up. Nina shows her pictures of the new grandbaby, Amelia, and they're talking, and Nina says, baby steps. She's only, Willow is telling her, about her medical, or she did. She's just waiting to hear more. But see, for me, I would think, you know what? It's been a minute. Now would be the time Nina could just text Willow. See, texting gives you space. It's been days since you talked to her at the hospital. Send her a text. Hey, Willow, just checking in. How's everything going with your health? Leave it at that, right? Willow would text her back. So anyway, whatever. She tells Phyllis that, guess what? She don't know if she can handle Sonny's life. Really, Nina? She says that now it's not just her. That's not the Mike that was from Nixon Falls. Well, Mike never existed, okay? Right? And there was peace when Sonny first got back. And now the peace is over. And she doesn't know if she can handle all the bodyguards. She can handle, what it entails. And so Phyllis looked at her and said, very few women can handle a life like that, Nina, and all that it entails. And you might not be one of those women. And so Nina looked at her. You mean like Carly is? And Phyllis just looked at her because in Phyllis's mind, she's thinking, well, I was just making a statement, but if we bring in Carly into it, then I guess the answer is yes, right? How many times has Carly remarried this mobster? So I guess the answer is Carly, right? But Phyllis didn't say like Carly. Nina did. And so she says, but is that enough though, Nina? So what does that mean? And so she goes, it's not just me, Phyllis. I've got my family now to think about, Willow and my grandchildren. And I don't know if it's going to be safe for them. Well, Willow and the grandkids are not involved in Sonny's world. Actually, neither is Michael, but he's putting his nose in Sonny's business, right? Trying to bring him down. So family is hands off in mob boss code, unless you really want all out war. But yeah, there are situations where you could be in the crossfire, which is why Sonny does not want little Donna spending the night for a while, right? But as far as the Quartermain house and everything that's separate, they're good. But see, yeah, here we go. Howdy doody. Nina is involved with Sonny. She is going to be around Sonny. But guess what? Her grandkids and her daughter's not going to be around Sonny. So Willow don't have nothing to think about. Not Willow. Nina has nothing to fear, except Nina's kind of like, but I don't want the danger that Sonny could bring to me. I could get hurt. And then I may never get a chance to have the relationship with my daughter and grandchildren. So Nina's starting to look a little past it, saying, look, little man, I just don't know if this was worth it. It was great when I was taking you from the woman I hated. But now that I got you, and you even starting to talk like Sonny, because Nina goes, I really did not know Sonny and his world before Nixon Falls. And I said, yeah, but you sure knew Sonny because it was his daughter you kidnapped. And if it wasn't for the fact that she and Franco spent time at Shady Brook after Franco got the baby back to where it belonged, because he tipped off the cops about that, right? Sonny just didn't try to annihilate Nina. But yeah, not like she didn't know Sonny Corinthos. She knew Sonny, she knew Carly. Okay. But guess what? Now it's different because I'm Nina and I couldn't change him. I thought I could, but I couldn't change him. No, you couldn't change him, Nina, right? So Phyllis just said, you know what? That's just something you're going to need to think long and hard about, right? And so back to Laura. Laura shows up at the little hideaway with Valentin, and Lucy's hugging her, and she's pitching a fit. Can I go? Can't I go? Can I? I want to me being stuck here is not fair. The nurses' ball, I have chaired each and every one of them, and blah, 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 and it won't be the same without me. And Laura's like, but Lucy, you can't. And Valentin says, if Victor knows you're alive, then you blow the cover for all of us, right? You're going to blow the cover for all of us if he knows you're alive. So Laura says, maybe this will cheer up your spirits. She takes out a letter from Martin. And Felicia goes in the, not Felicia, Lucy goes in the back. Oh, I'm going to take a nice long bath and savor over every word and read it 1,000 times. So she, goes off in the back, and Laura and Valentin talking. They end up talking about how far they've become. Because remember, Valentin was the enemy. Laura hated him. And so did Lulu. But Lulu made more peace with him because she had to co-parent Charlotte with Valentin. But Laura still kept more hands off because Valentin did shoot Nicholas. He didn't kill him, but he shot him, and Valentin's a Cassadine. So anyway, they were talking because she says, oh, maybe next time I can sneak Charlotte in. He goes, no, don't. Much as I would love to see her, don't do that. Because if what you're saying is true, because Laura said, I also think there's some health issue going on with Victor, right? He goes, then my father has nothing to lose. So he's watching Charlotte. So let's leave it that way. And in my mind, I'm thinking, why don't they just FaceTime? Just do a private FaceTime. And then he and Charlotte could talk to each other. Just, don't do it all the time. Just say we're going to do a special thing, FaceTime, just so you can see your papa, right? So I would have thought of that. But anyway, as they're talking, it was a really nice conversation. We got a new character that they're getting ready to bring in on General Hospital. This new character came off the elevator, and I said, well, we got somebody new coming in. I didn't see anything in, the little previous leads or the spoilers or anything. And this woman walks off the elevator, and gosh darn it, I didn't know who she was. She reminded me of some, but you know what? Wow, I don't know. Can anybody tell me who that is? Who's that? Because I don't recognize her. Lucy is such an idiot. Soon as she walked off that elevator, I thought, chick, what is wrong with you? You are the reason everybody is in the mess you're in, and you just don't care. All Lucy cares about is Lucy. This chick couldn't even get a gray wig to put on her head. Maybe she would fool somebody. That's just like, you know what? For the life of me, I do not understand why people never knew Clark Kent was Superman. I'm sorry. Why didn't they know that? If I put glasses on me, wouldn't you still know I'm Daily Recap Lady? Just because I threw some glasses on me? What is that, everybody? Come on, camera, stop that. There we go. Just because Lucy put those stupid glasses on herself, you can still see that's Lucy. She's in the lobby, and Victor's there too. What's also interesting to me is, how'd she get transportation out of there? Does Lucy have access to a phone? She call an Uber? You know what? I just shook my head when she came up off that elevator. Anyway, let's get off of that. They already said, look, Lucy, it's just going to be a little while. We are making progress. Nope, she couldn't do it. So anyway, back to Sonny and Carly. Carly sees the guards and she asks Sonny about, what happened. This is Nina walking in later, but I'm sticking with Sonny and Carly right now. And Sonny immediately explained to her what happened. Incident in the warehouse last night, blah, blah, blah. Dex got whatever they call it, Rick skimmed with a bullet. And I got him here because I'm watching him. I mean, just the rundown. Because see, Carly was that mob boss wife, right? Because he's like, I got everything under control. She goes, do you really? She goes, because you and I both know you can't make that promise, right? And so he said, well, that's why I feel like, it's not good for Donna to be here. And so he comes over closer to her and he's talking to her. And the funny thing is, as Sonny's explaining what happened, Dex, they cut to him and explaining everything to Jocelyn. And I'm like, the difference is Sonny knows Carly. Carly's mature. Carly's been in that life with him for almost 30 years. She knows. Jocelyn, no. Jocelyn can't keep a secret, right? So anyway, Carly, the first thing out of her, not the first thing, but because this is almost towards the end of their conversation. You know what she says to him? Is there anything I could do to help? She's always been ride or die with Sonny for that. Is there anything because in her mind, I may hate this, I may be out of it, I may be, but you're in danger. You're the father of my child, my kid, no. Is there anything I could do? Right? And he goes, what you could do for me, Carly, is stay out of it. I got it under control. What I need, the most important thing I need, is to know that you and the kids are safe. And she goes, okay, right? And she's teary-eyed, right? Because she's thinking, oh, shoot, because she's been through wars, mob wars with him. She's like, okay, we got to shore up again, right? And they hear the door open and Nina walks in. And Carly and Sonny both turn and look towards the door because look, who coming in here, right? And Carly's eyes are teary as she's looking at Nina. And Nina comes in and she sees like, and then she kind of squints her eyes like, what's happening between you two, right? Now, we all know when it comes back, Carly's going to leave. She ain't going to stay for no conversation. But then you know what Nina's going to say after she leaves? Did you tell her? Does Carly know what happened yesterday? Like you share that with her? You didn't share it with me? Now, she's the one that didn't want to be involved. And he said, you said you didn't want to know. Do you want to know or don't you? Carly is the mother of my child, and Carly knows the protocol. Because all Sonny got to pick up the phone for Carly and say, Island time. Boom. And she's got the getaway bag. She's got the emergency clothes. Passports are already in there. She knows the protocol. Island time, right? And will do it, no questions asked. Carly knows the drill, and it's a drill, right? So anyway, that's going to be something Nina is going to be so jealous of. And I think she's already thinking of separating herself from Sonny during this period, which would be, this is why she'll have no qualms with turning Carly in. She won't have to answer to Sonny behind that. But quite frankly, you want to know who's going to do it? See, we were toying in comment corner that Ava was going to do it. That ain't going to be Ava. Nina told Liesel, or is going to tell Liesel. Liesel's going to do it. Want to know why Liesel's going to do it? Liesel hasn't found out yet that it was Jocelyn that Britta saved. But she will. And then she's going to blame Carly. She's going to blame Carly and Jocelyn, but she knows she can't take it out on a young adult like that, because she's going to say, you left my Britta on the pier alone. See, Liesel, that's all she's going to think. She's not even thinking about, no, Britt said she was fine. The cops were coming, you know, because really she should be mad at the whole PCPD. You left my daughter after you took a statement from her to die. You notice she's not going there with it, because the police took a whole statement and asked her, did she want to go to the hospital? And she said no. But Liesel doesn't want to hear that, right? At all. So I think it'll be Liesel will really be the one that's going to call the SEC on Carly, right? So anyway, that is the daily recap for General Hospital. All right, let's go to comment corner, because we do have quite a few comments. I'm going to breeze right through them, everybody. Jane says, well, like you're right, he'd like to have a meal to go to the, I don't know what you're talking about there, Jane. I saw yesterday's episode. He wanted to leave it alone, but out Dada won't. Okay, you know what? Let me skip to some part that I could figure out, right? That Alexis never minds her business. Yeah, that Alexis never minds her business. That's about all I can make of your comment, Jane. Susan says, maybe Gregory has a brain tumor, or is it the stem of his brain, or on his nervous system? That would explain his speech. I'm telling you, it was medical. And Alexis, she just, for a journalist, she couldn't figure out something medical could be happening to this man. Alexis could have considered a medical condition. Exactly, Susan. Instead of just assuming he was drinking. I was hoping to see what the letter, what was in that letter for Esme from Heather. You're right. It would be wise to put those charges on hold, as a jury would be sympathetic. And she was held hostage by Nicholas, and you're right. She was also held hostage by Ryan and Heather amongst their antics, right? Traumatized by them. After that, Esme and Kevin would have a lot in common. Evil Ryan. Cindy says, why is Spencer living at Sonny's? A few weeks ago, he was actively talking to a realtor about getting a place of his own. He can certainly afford it. Yes, he can. But you know what? Spencer doesn't want to be alone. Eduardo, because he was getting that place for him and his brother. Eduardo says they were going to become friends and kaput the charges against Esme. Okay, I don't quite get that part. It'll be Esme's idea for Ace to visit with Nicholas, except nobody can find Nicholas. Marcia says, great review. I think Spencer needs to get his own place. Camilla says, this is the first where I can't entirely agree with Trina. They shouldn't drop the charges. No, really not drop, just postpone, but rather postpone them. You're right, but rather postpone, which is what they're going to do. Esme's recording of Joss and Cam's, spiking Trina's drink, framing her for doing the record, making the video, getting the black market phone. She killed Oz by poisoning him and torching Ava's car. She'd inevitably, she set in motion a series of events that ultimately led Sasha and Brando's baby being born brain dead and dying. Her premeditated plans were despicable, and having amnesia and a baby shouldn't justify dropping the charges. I agree with you, Camilla. Or Camilla, probably Camilla. Sasha says, remember that Trina's aunt Gia was a lawyer, and so was Diane. Trina realized that Esme will get off with a memory issue, and Trina's playing a game also. Book Sense and her aunt most likely gave her some information. I doubt that. Look, her niece was on trial for her life. And did you see Gia? They didn't bring no Gia in on General Hospital. We didn't even see a letter coming from Aunt Gia or a phone call saying, keep your head up, baby girl. Nothing. So no, she didn't get nothing from Trina's doing this for Spencer because Spencer ran out of Kelly's all upset. Spencer wants his brother. So I'm gonna do this for Spencer. Yeah, that's all she was doing that for. Let's see. I don't think Esme should pay. No, I do think Esme should pay for what she did to Trina, Josh, Cam. But Trina has to be the fox to outfox Esme. I hope GH will not let this drop because as an older Black woman, wrong is wrong, no matter the color. Josh pointed out to Trina, and Trina explained it to Josh, Cam, and Spencer as to why. Josh was like, why should we let her off, right? And then Sherry says, I thought diabetic as soon as I saw the orange juice. Marcia says, you're correct, I am diabetic. Sherry says, is talking to Marcia, my grandfather was diabetic, and as kids, we weren't supposed to drink his orange juice. He had for emergency use only. And that was in the late 60s and 70s. And Camilla says, I believe Sonny knew all along Dex was with Josh. Spencer confronted him, and even though Sonny brushed it off by answering him, Josh can be with whoever she wants. I remember Spencer being a precocious kid and thought he can be annoying. I agree with his assessment regarding Esme and Dex. Esme might claim she loves her baby, but be using the baby as a get out of jail free card. Spencer sees through that. Like Cam, Spencer sees Dex as no good for Josh and senses he is using her by not telling Sonny of his relationship with Josh. I still won't bypass Dex being a part of the shooting setup. If Dex can double cross Sonny with Michael, he can double cross Sonny with Selena Wu or Sonny's rivals. Even Brick senses bad vibes about Dex. I agree. Something's up with Dex. Period. And Michael's gonna, yeah, he brought that little black snake into the family too, Michael. That was you. Anna Rihanna says, I think Gregory either had a slight seizure or his body is getting ready for a heart attack. Yeah, I can see why he never wants to see her again. Brooklyn has one expression. So Willow has to hang on longer. And we have to hang on. Really? You know what? I think Willow's going to end up going into a coma and almost dying after that wedding. They're gonna push Willow to the brink of death, the complete brink of death before she gets that bone marrow transplant. And in reality, remember they said her body has to be strong enough to go through the procedure. And they're just, why are they dragging this on like that is ridiculous. They did not have to write that in for Liesel. This bone marrow transplant should be over and done with. I'm so sick of this. Sonny had to check Spencer. It might look like Sonny doesn't care if Dex and Josh are together. Sonny and Michael both told Dex to stay away. Sonny will let him know. Great recap. Michael says, today's episode has some good scenes, but still seemed boring for some reason. Why are they dragging the Willow transplant storyline? I'm with you, Michael. Trina plans to postpone the charges until she remembers it was a good idea for the plot, but it wouldn't happen in real life. No, exactly. That would never happen in real life. The best punishment would be for her to stand trial, meaning Esme, for her crimes, no matter if she remembers or not. The charges and be charged and serve time without Ace. She would be in a personal hell The old Esme deserves it. Great recap. Exactly. YAA says, I guess another courtroom drama so soon after the last one that drug out for months wouldn't do, LOL. And then DB says, is it me or is Trina who Joss aspires to be? Gonna be broken if they let Esme out and the old one comes back and worms her way into Spencer's bed without telling anyone when she caught, without telling anyone, then gets caught lying again. But you know what? Spencer is going to make it his life mission to prove that Esme has her memories back. He would probably try to go along with something just to prove, chick, you ain't forgot nothing, right? He's repulsed by her because she manipulated him, took advantage of him. Richard says another great review. Daily recap lady, love your facial expressions. Thank you, Richard. Sandy says, all these people walking on eggshells with Esme, dropping charges, will soon regret it. Great review, thank you. DB says, but to pick up right where her parents left off. I know some crazy stuff is going to happen. Susan says, Esme really freaked out when she saw saw who the letter was from and dropped it like a hot potato. Before the name on the return address was revealed, I thought it would have been from Maggie. You know what? I thought that letter was from Maggie as well. Marsha says, I heard Maggie is coming back. Yeah, I don't think they're going to drop that whole Maggie thing. Maggie probably will come back. She will probably be involved with Esme at some point. P. Merle says, Spencer is going to beat Dex down. Can Dex tell any more lies? Someone tell Cam that Joss is not worth his tears. Sonny knows Dex is going back on the meat hook pretty soon. That's funny. And then DB says, upside down this time, since he didn't learn from the first 2 times that he had been shot. And we still don't know who he is. No, we don't, right? Linda says, the way Sonny was talking to Nina sounds like the old Sonny. You said you didn't want to know my business. Do you or don't you? Ron says, Alexis did the right thing. He could be suffering from something he wants no one to find out about, and continue his life without people fussing over him like Britta did. She didn't want nobody to know about her Huntingtons. And if Esme is faking, she's done a great job of convincing Trina, telling her the truth. And now it's up to her to get the word out. Yeah, Trina's now her defender. Well, just to get her out so that the baby is not there for Spencer. Lucy says, great GH daily recap, lady, for all you do. You are welcome, Lucy. You're welcome. That is it from Comment Corner. Comment Corner. Let's see what's going to happen next week on General Hospital, because if they are dropping the charge or postponing the charges against Esme should be staying at Laura's house with Charlotte and Kevin. And I kind of think that is what's going to happen, is she's going to go stay there. So anyway, that's all I have. I will be back on Monday for another daily recap of General Hospital.